Thank you for being here and listening to this video. I am so excited to share with you a bit of my process in recording my newest EP, Heartspoken. This EP has differed from some of my other releases in process and in my writing process, and also in my approach to creativity. And I think the outcome of that has been the impact of that has been really profound for me as an artist. And so there's 3 songs on this EP, and my plan is to actually go through each of these songs and to share with you a bit about the writing process with each song, and also some of the meaning behind my songs, at least that of which I know. The writing and some of where these songs came from within me. And so with this first video, I just want to talk about the EP itself, and the first being the name of the EP. So I decided to name this EP Heartspoken because the songs on this collection of works are songs that are deeply related to my personal process of growth and self-study and creative study. And so much of what these songs portray or share are things that aren't easily put into words. It's more of these experiences that happen within me, and even just, sometimes we're going through things and there's not always words, but that, music has this beautiful way of bringing other people into the experience in a felt sense, because we feel music, whether that's through rhythm or notation. So all 3 of these songs feel like different processes, inner kind of experiences that are difficult to put into words, though, as I said, I'm going to try to share with you. So there's 3 songs. There's Shaking It, Dance to Your Shadow. And there's Right Hand Man. And then there's What Will Die. And so I'm going to start with, Right Hand Man, I would say, was written in an earlier kind of it was the first written song of this collection. And actually I wrote it when I was pregnant with my daughter. And that song came out of a lot of different familial work that I was doing as a therapist, and training that I was doing around understanding my family of origin. So that's your family that you grew up in, your family of origin. And understanding, some of these ways of living that the culture of my family. And so that song is very much about what it means to be a woman within my family, and some of those deeply embedded, what we call family rules, and family rules that are unspoken. So these things that are supposed to be upheld, or are expected in a way of you. So that's what that song's about. And again, I said I'll go into deeper detail of all these songs. This is just a bit of an overview. And then we have Shaking It, or Dance to Your Shadow, which is a song was a lot of fun. And actually I wrote that song for Joni, Tim and I both, when she was just a small small baby. She just started standing and moving her body to music. And that was the first song that I ever wrote just with vocals first. So that melody came to me just in motherhood, throughout the day with her. And I used to sing, shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, shaking your booty right. And she would just light up, and she'd move her body. And then I started to think about how movement and dancing is so primal, so known deep within us, and that there's this joy, there's this we have the ability to move things through us, emotions, through dance. It's like we can just allow some of what we're carrying to just melt away when we move our bodies. And I could feel that so intently when I would sing this with Joni and she would start dancing, and I could slip into that joy with her. And the impact that had on my days in those early days of motherhood, which aren't the most stable. There's a lot of up and downs, so that's that song. And I just want to share too, the other cool thing about that song is that there is a sample in that song, or there's a vocal line in that song. Ho ro heridel hinji heridel. That vocal line actually comes from an old Scottish folk song that I learned when I was taking classical voice lessons in my early adulthood. And so I shifted the melody on that and brought it in because that song is called Dance to Your Shadow. And so this idea that we can, dance even when times are tough, and the impact of that. So then we get to What Will Die. And so What Will Die is my most recent song that I've written. And the song is, I can't wait to share more about this song, because this song for me is really important for my personal process. And it's a song about, letting parts of ourselves, not ourselves, but parts of ourselves, maybe like our ego states, or the parts of ourselves that aren't truly ourselves, that aren't truly us, but they're like our coping and our behaviors, or our perspectives, and letting those die, letting those go. And then, there's that that impersonal level. And then we look at, the societal implications of what needs to die. But the thing is that we can only let these things die if we're willing to look at them. And so, culturally, there's a lot of conversation about shadow work. This Jungian concept of shadow work, and people are talking about it a lot. And, I'll talk more about this when I talk about that song. But for me, it was really committing to seeing some of this coping within myself, and, committing to letting those pieces die, move, leave. But we can only do that when we allow it to come up. And then there's many more layers, but let's just say that's the surface, scratching the surface there. And then with all three of these songs, I had a bigger part in production than my last EP, What Will Die being the kind of biggest role that I've had in the production. And that song specifically was recorded all at home with Michael Turner doing some instrumentation in his studio in Kamloops, but vocals and some other stuff done at home, and Tim supporting with some really awesome creative ideas for that track. So super exciting there. So there's a little bit of information. Oh, the last thing. So the art, very cool cover art for this EP. And I'm going to do a video on that process because that cover art was created by a Kamloops-based artist, Hannah Seeger. And they created that piece after listening to the songs and hearing a vision, a guided vision that I had. So I'll talk more about that vision and this image in another video. So yes, I hope you're intrigued and you are getting a little bit more curious about this EP and getting as excited as I am to listen as I am to share. And I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit more with you in the coming days.